Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is your host, Dave. I got my special guest, Aka funny car driver, the Suzy Q funny car, Sue Christophersen. How you doing, Sue?
I'm doing great. How are you, Dave?
Just fine. Little chilly out here in Illinois, but otherwise fine.
Very chilly here, too, in Michigan. I'll tell you, this has been a cold October, November.
Oh, yeah. So how did the drag racing season go for you this year?
It was challenging, but I think it was a lot better season this year than last, that's for sure. We didn't hurt anything or break anything, but we had some challenges that we had to figure out. So it was a interesting season. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I know you were supposed to come up here by us, but then the rain took out the whole weekend, so we didn't get a chance to see you run up here.
Yeah, we were all packed. We were heading out that way. In fact, my husband was already in the driver's seat of the motorhome and had it running, and we got the call that they were expecting so much rain. They said, you better stay home.
Yeah, the whole parking lot flooded out and everything over there.
Really? Wow. So they completely canceled the event for the weekend, and you guys really got hit pretty hard, didn't you?
Yeah. And then when they did the reschedule for one day only, but you guys already had a race going on that weekend up in, what was it, Martin?
Yeah, we had a really busy schedule. We had like 12 events on our schedule, which we've never done that before. That's a lot.
Yeah, so let me ask you something, Sue. How did your whole career in drag racing begin for you?
It's kind of a long story, but I'll try to shorten it. I'd never been to a drag race or even imagined drag racing until about 25 years ago. My husband had been around racing all his life, and he always loved it. Although he hadn't owned a race car, he'd worked on a lot of crews and done circle track racing, Bonneville racing. Anyway, he started taking me to a couple drag races, and then he asked me if I wanted to go to Frank Hawley Drag Racing School. So I guess I'm if I get an opportunity, I like to take it. So I said yes, and we went and took the class, and it was pretty exciting. I had never been in a race car before I went to that class, so I have to say it was way outside of my comfort zone. But we decided to build a dragster, and that's what we did. We came back. We had a couple of friends that partnered with us, and we all put our resources together and bought a Spister dragster. And back then, we didn't even really race seriously. We went on the weekends, took turns driving. A few years of that, and my husband decided he would rather work on the car than be in the driver's seat, and a couple of our friends kind of got interested in other stuff and ended up being just our car. We bought them out, and I was the full-time driver, and we did bracket racing for a lot of years before we built the funny car.
So what year did the funny car come about?
We decided to get involved in that project in 2010. We have friends that do exhibition racing locally, and we've been out to watch them a bunch of times, and they kind of encouraged us to take that step. And when we started shopping, we found a chassis from an IHRA alcohol funny car that was up for sale actually here in Michigan, and then we shopped around. We weren't sure what we wanted to build until we found this 57 Chevy body, and when we found that available, it was coming from California, never been used, but it's actually the fiberglass body off of the same mold that Tom McEwen's car was built on. And that was my husband's favorite funny car back in the 80s. So we picked that body up and started working on it. That was a long winter project.
So it
came out in 2011 for the first time.
So it's a 57 Bel Air?
it's a 57, 57 Chevy Bel Air.
Nice. That's my wife's favorite kind of old school car.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a lot of. It's a popular car.
Yeah. I see a lot of them at car shows over here.
Well, they say that there's more 57 Chevys now than there were in 1957 because of all the reproduction parts and restoration vehicles that people have put together.
Oh, that's interesting. So 2011, the funny car came out. So you had to get your funny car license then?
Yeah, actually, I got my license. I drove friends of ours had a short wheelbase altered that I was able to drive and get my license in. And so I was licensed when we started running this car. I was certainly not experienced, but licensed.
Wow. So what was it like for you to get behind the wheel of a funny car for the first time?
Well, I'd sat in the car quite a few times, but I think the first time that we actually had it running, and I was suited up and belted in, and they brought that body down on me. I mean, I still remember that moment. And there was for an instant there, I thought, I can't do this. It was an anxious moment. I'll just put it that way. And I had to kind of talk myself into it because I felt like we'd put so much time and energy and resources into putting that car together, and we had decided this is what we wanted to do, and I kind of had to go through with it. So the first couple times up to the starting line were, I was afraid of the car. Really, it had the engine and transmission and rear end, the whole package it just had so much torque that the car was taking off the line so violently that it would lift the front end, it'd come down, it'd bounce. I had to lift, and I think we did that, 3 or 4, 5 times before we finally made changes to the car. We had to add weight, take some timing out, calm it down, before we finally got it so it would handle on the starting line. So there was definitely a period of time where I doubted myself. I just felt like, I don't know if I can do this.
So how long did it take for you to get comfortable driving a funny car?
Oh, I'm still getting comfortable. There are times when I still feel like it's a handful, but I think it was the second year. The first year I was really learning. I was really a novice at it, and we have a Lenco drive, and that's a little tricky, getting it into forward, getting it into reverse. Sometimes, when I was first starting to drive it, I really had trouble getting it into reverse and backing up. And just, there's just certain things that you get used to, I guess. With this particular car, I kind of know how to act now, and we did have an incident the first year where the brakes didn't hold, and the car got in reverse and took off on me, and we got up on the guardrail at a small track in Ohio, and I had no control over it. It just took off on me. The front end and back end, we had to, do repairs to the body, and when we got the front end replaced, it's actually driven better ever since. So unless I'm out of the groove, unless there's some other handling, other reason for the car to be, acting up, it goes straight. If I have a good track and I'm pointed straight to begin with, which is nice. I think it handles better than probably a lot of funny cars.
So now, what's the quickest ET you've had with that funny car?
No, we just did that this September. We got the car going. Weather was good, and we were at our local track here in Michigan at Milan Dragway, and finally got kind of the right combination. Went a 660 at 209.75 miles per hour, so just a tad under 210.
Milan, wasn't that the one on September 22nd?
Yes, it is. That was the weekend.
Yeah, that was the one where the Great Lakes Dragway rescheduled the Time Machine Nationals for that. You guys already had that event. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was that we couldn't come to your race because that was the rain date, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So, do you, they have quite a few nostalgia races at the, it's not,
No, usually just
what's the name of the,
usually just Great Lakes Dragway. Usually just Memorial Day and Labor Day.
okay.
So probably Memorial Day they're gonna bring the Aka funny cars again. Hopefully, maybe you'll be on that one.
We'll see. We're still talking about our schedule next year. We haven't committed to all the races. We don't want to. 2 or 3 races a week or a month is just a little much, and 1 or 2 a month is perfect. So we're gonna see. We're gonna have to pick and choose our events.
Okay, I know.
But, that's the drag strip that we'd like to come to. We've never been there with the car, so.
Yeah, I know Memorial Day weekend last year. This year Memorial Day weekend road show was up there, and Detroit Tiger and Blue Thunder, they were up there.
Yeah, those are the ones we run with a lot.
So now, who are your biggest influences in drag racing?
Well, because I didn't grow up around it, and I don't have a lot of heroes from the early days. But since I've been a race fan, I guess, for the last 25 years, locally we have a female drag racer, alcohol funny car racer, Della. Della Woods. I've met her many times, talked to her. She was quite a big time racer back in her day, and I guess she's one of my local heroes for the fact that she was doing it before a lot of other people were. I think in I don't know, just the people we meet. I think that it's the fact that people in drag racing, everybody just seems to be out to encourage the fans and encourage other racers, and I like the culture of this sport.
Yeah, drag racing is just one big family.
It is. I guess if I look at the professional ranks, Clay Milliken, Tim Wilkerson, I could probably go down a list of a lot more, but those two in particular are racers that I follow and that I'm a big fan of.
Right. Now, when you take the funny car out, how many crew members do you have besides your husband, and who are your other crew members?
We have a friend, Norm Lapson, who lives in Lansing. He's been our crew member for the last couple of years, and we couldn't do it, just the two of us. So he's that extra pair of hands we got to have, and he and Steve put their heads together on the tune-up and on what needs to be done with the car, and it seems to be working out really well.
So now, how did you come up with the name Susie?
Well, I guess that part of it's kind of obvious. My name is Sue,
right.
Or when I was growing up, I was always Susie in my family, and when we started to put this together, our intent was to be a nostalgia race car, to do a lot of exhibition racing and so forth. Being local here in Michigan, there was a restaurant on Woodward Avenue. A lot of people outside of Michigan wouldn't necessarily pick up on this, but people in Michigan associate it. There was a Susie Q Fish and Chips on Woodward. And back in the day when everybody was cruising Woodward, that was one of the big hangouts. So it just seemed like it was a good fit to pick up that name because it had a little bit of a nostalgia aspect to it, and it's actually worked out real well as far as picking that name and putting it on the car. I think people remember it.
Yeah, I could see where the sound nostalgia. It kind of reminds me of like the old, drive-ins where you drive your car in there and park and order food and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So now, do you have any sponsors currently?
I do. We have no serious. I don't want to say we have serious sponsors because we don't. We do this mostly on our own dime. But since when we first started racing the car, we got a hold of a company that makes a really great hand soap that my husband had found. Cleans up anything. Uncle Earl's. It's kind of a funny name, Uncle Earl's hand healing hand soap, but they're out of Ohio, not a real big company. We contacted them and said, hey, how would you like to sponsor us? And in return, we'll try to let all of our racer friends know about this great soap because we use it all the time at the racetrack and in the shop and so forth. And they came on board. They aren't able to offer us a lot, but one of the big things that they do for us is our website. They set it up. They took my sponsorship proposal information and they built a basic website, and we've added to it as we've gone along, and it's awesome. I write a blog after each one of my races, and I send it to the guy who manages it, and he posts it for me and sets it up, and he adds videos for me, and we have hot links to. We have a lot of companies that either give us good deals, or we just think that they give us really good parts that help us race, and so we list them. Then we did pick up a sponsor this year. There's a local restaurant, and it's Parker's Hilltop Brewery, and they wanted to sponsor us for a couple of races this year. So we put their sticker on the car. We did a couple of car shows at the restaurant, and we had a fundraiser for charity, and we did a raffle, and the winner of the raffle got to come out to our race at Milan and be our honorary pit crew. So that was fun.
All right. So now, what are some of your favorite tracks to run on?
My favorite track? Well, we like Milan because it's close. I guess Beach Bend and Bowling Green, Kentucky is just one of the. It's just a nice place to race. It's an older track. It's got a lot of, I guess, atmosphere. We always enjoy races at that track. Norwalk, Ohio, the Summit Motorsports Park there is probably one of the nicest, and we get the best treatment. Everybody is treated really well by the staff at that track, and they go out of their way to make sure people are having a good time and that the races run smooth. So I'd have to say that's another one that I really, really like. Not that any of the tracks that we've raced at have really been bad, but those probably are the ones that I would come up with as ones that I particularly like.
So now, besides that one time where you had that problem when you backed into the guardrail, have you had any other accidents or close accidents in your drag racing career?
No. Fortunately, knock on wood. So far, I haven't put any scratches in the headers or the side of the car, but we've had obviously some mechanical problems. We've had, I had a problem with the Lanco drive one time where the transmission failed on the starting line. I don't know, was it 4 years ago, 5 years ago? A rod broke. It was the very last race of the season. A rod broke and put holes in both sides of the block. And then, not this season, but in 2017, we had a valve break and did major damage. Actually took out the heads, damaged, just damaged the engine to the point. And because we were running old stuff, we had an old JP1 block, and the heads we had were old top fuel heads. We couldn't get parts. So basically we started over and had to build a whole new engine. So when we came out this year, we were running something that was an entirely different package than we'd had before.
All right, now when you and your husband have to get the car ready for a weekend of drag racing, what goes into preparation to get the car ready?
Well, it depends on, where we have been the week before or whatever, but generally, he likes to go through and check the valves and make sure that there's nothing in the oil filter, and he'll do some other between race maintenance to the car, clean it up a little bit. Getting everything packed into the motorhome is always a big deal. Refilling the fuel jugs, making sure the batteries are all charged up, making sure we have everything along that we need to. So it's not a lot, because as long as nothing's broken, we're not taking the motor apart or doing any major work on it. That's what's going to happen this winter. The car's already in the shop and gonna tear it down here shortly.
Now, do you prefer quarter mile or eighth mile?
We're quarter mile. I've done some eighth mile, I think once or twice, but for the most part, almost every race we go to is quarter mile.
All right, now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
My tire suit?
Yeah, every fire suit, all your other fire safety stuff.
Well, I have a Simpson helmet. I have a little of everything. We have RJ. Let's see. We have the RJS. My jacket came from RJS. And what is it? TJ Safety. We got our belts and our blower restraints, and my boots are Simpson. My gloves are Simpson. So we have a little of everything.
All right. So, what kind of tires you running on?
We've got a Hoosier, and I couldn't tell you the number right off the bat. I have to look it up, but we've got. We've been running Hoosiers on this car all along, although we did make a change this year to a little different tire with a little stiffer sidewall, and actually, it was a good improvement. We spun the tires a lot. This motor makes a little more horsepower than what we had before, and we were spinning the tires more often than not off the starting line, and somebody gave us some advice on tires, so we tried a little stiffer sided wall tire, same size, but a little stiffer, and it helped that, and lowering the wheelie bar, and that's helped a lot.
Now, have you reached any milestones in your drag racing career so far?
Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat that again, Dave.
Have you reached any milestones in your career yet?
Oh, well, I'd say so. Just over the years that we've been racing, we've been able to hit some. When I hit my first 2 mile an hour time slip, that was a big milestone. Obviously, that 660 this summer was a big milestone, and just getting number one qualified quite a number of times. We run 2 different programs. Some of the races we go to are exhibition, and basically, in an exhibition race, when we're there with, usually 5 or there'll be 3 or 5 other funny cars, and we're really just out there to make sure we go down to the track, put a good run on, try to get a good side-by-side race, and go as fast as we want to go. But the other races we go to, we race with a group called the Nostalgia Drag Racing League. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah. We got hooked up with them right away when we first started racing, and actually we've done more races with them than we have exhibition. And we're in the Pro 7.0 class. So we're doing index racing with the Nostalgia Drag Racing League, and it's a really tough class. I've been qualified with a 700 something, and been way down the list, like sixth on the list of qualifying. It'll be really tight, but to get in the number one or number two qualified in that group is quite an accomplishment, and I always feel good about that. If I don't do anything else that weekend, that means we got the tune-up right and we ran well.
Have you ever done anything with the Great Lakes Nostalgia Funny Car Circuit?
We started out with them, and frankly, they didn't think that they didn't want some of the stuff we have on our car. They said that, we couldn't run with them with that distributor and so forth, and Nostalgia Drag Racing League came along at the same time, so we opted to, rather than go back and change our program, we went where we were wanted and started racing with them.
Yeah, I know Bill Anderson used to run with the Great Lakes Circuit too before.
Yeah, a lot of the funny cars that are around here have raced with them also.
Now, do you have any plans to do any funny car chaos events next year?
Well, there's definitely one that I have my eyes on, and we haven't really decided our schedule for next year. It's coming up at the US 131 dragway.
Right,
and
Martin, Michigan, yeah.
Right. It's right in our backyard. It's gonna be a tough decision because I would love to try that. I don't know. There's some really good cars in that come out for that, from what I'm seeing, and the competition would be rough. And the NDRL, the Nostalgia Drag Racing League that we race with, is also going to be there that weekend. So we actually have a choice, I guess, to run the Chaos or to run with the Nostalgia Drag Racing League. So we'll decide later next summer.
Yeah. I think it'd be a fun time for you to run the Funny Car Chaos.
Well, it's going to depend. If we're doing well with the Nostalgia Drag Racing League and we've got some points, that might sway my decision. If I'm not really in the points chase at that point because it's later in the season, I might opt for the Chaos just because I think it would be fun to have the challenge. Yeah,
because the one Aka Funny Car driver, he dominated all this year. It's like he didn't make one event, but the 3 out of 4 events he did, he was undefeated. He took every event.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a target on his back now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a pretty neat event though that Chris Graves puts on here, bring what you got, Aka, whatever, Nitro, anything, as long as it's a funny car. Big show. Yeah.
Well, they're sure getting a good turnout, which is awesome. Funny cars are really popular right now.
It's always nice to see staging lanes with like 30 funny cars with the bodies up.
That makes an impressive picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like the old days when you used to have the big funny car events. Well, then again, the Great Lakes Nostalgia Funny Car Circuit, they still have the big event with like 30 alcohol funny cars.
Yeah, I think they have an event called the Funny Car Nationals. Although I don't know. I don't know where it's being held. It used to be at a racetrack in Ohio, and I don't know if they did it in Pennsylvania last year.
Yeah, it's at Keystone.
Yeah.
So,
do you go out to the funny car races very often?
Just when it comes to Great Lakes Drag, I was supposed to go to Funny Car Chaos with the wife this year, but our car was having problems, so I couldn't make it out there. It was like a 4-hour drive to Central Illinois Dragway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we would have made it if the car was running good, but we had a problem with our car, so.
Ah,
But
that's too bad.
otherwise, I just go to Great Lakes Dragway the Memorial Day weekend and the Labor Day weekend to see the funny cars. Well, we only get the two Nitro cars. Every year is the same cars. You got the Boz Young with the Down Under Thunder. Well, he's moving back to Australia now, so we lose that funny car for Nitro.
Yeah, we talked to him at US 131. He was there the last time we were there, and that's when we found out he's moving back to Australia. I think he's planning to race back there too.
Yes, he's bringing the funny car with him. And then we have Doc Holliday with the Telstar funny car that usually match race with Boz every year now. And they're gonna have to get a new Nitro funny car to race against Doc Holliday now since Boz is leaving.
No, you run a funny car then?
What's that?
I said you drive a funny car, right?
No, I don't drive a funny car.
No, you don't drive a funny car?
No, someone was asking me recently too. You don't drag race? I'm like, no. They're like, why not? Nah,
yeah, why not?
Nah,
sounds like you should be planning on building one.
Nah, I just do interviews and promote you guys. Try to get you guys, promotion.
Well, I appreciate that.
So now I'm gonna ask you some fun questions now.
Some dumb questions?
No, fun.
Fun. Okay. All right. Some fun questions. Let's hear it.
If someone came up to you and said, Sue, here's $300 million. I want you to build a brand new drag race track. Where would you consider building a new track, and what kind of features would you want to put into a brand new drag racing track?
Holy cow! That's one I'd have to think about. We could always use another track here in Michigan, but actually, the further north you go, the shorter the season, so that doesn't work so good. And I haven't really taken a look at the geography. Where's there a lack of tracks? I mean, I think anywhere you put up a track, if you put up a good one, there's people who want to go racing. It seems to be universal, or at least across this country and a few others. So I'm not sure I can answer where, but I guess if I were looking at what makes a good track, if I wanted a track to be really successful, I'd have to take some lessons from Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio. I think they have a lot of things figured out. Part of it, just the attitude. Everybody wants to make it a good experience for the racers. But some of the things that make a good track is the facility itself. There's got to be good places in the pit. The pit got to have enough paved pits. Got to have flat places that big rigs can pull in and out of. To me, that's important. I don't know whether it's at the top of the list, but I think good bathroom and shower facilities, because most tracks have multi-day events. People are staying overnight all the time.
Right.
And so I think that, and you know what? It makes a huge difference how clean and well kept the track is. A little bit of landscaping and just making sure that the trash barrels are emptied, and whatever gets people are pigs in the stands. I don't know why, but they drop everything, and somebody's got to come and clean it up. But the tracks that keep after that and really keep up with it, it makes a difference. It makes you feel like you're in a better facility when it's kept. And I actually think because it's so much a family sport, that having a picnic area and a playground area, I mean, that has nothing to do with the racing, but it just, the facility. And as far as the racing, got to be a really good track. You've got to have good scoreboards. You've got to have a good safe shutdown, a good wide swing out for the cars pulling off the track. That's one feature about some tracks that really make me uncomfortable. If I can't turn my car off the track and steer it to a safe place away from the next car coming down behind me, then I'm not liking it.
Yeah.
So, and good safety staff. People at the end of the track, when they're running cars, like some tracks don't put enough people at the end of the track when they're running funny cars. Maybe it's not important when you've got your local weekend bracket cars, but when you've got cars that are going 200 miles an hour and they have to pull off the track and they're running alcohol, something goes wrong and there's nobody down there, you could have your whole car burned down if there's nobody to put it out a fire, or if you can't get safely out of the way and another car comes down. So to me, having safety staff at the turnoff at the end of the track is real important.
Now, does a good burnout box matter to you?
Does what?
Does a good burnout box matter to you?
I've done burnout, and water box has been in terrible shape, and I've never really felt that it made a difference one way or the other to the way I ran. Of course, you'd like that whole water box and starting line area to be in good shape. You got to have good rubber on the track and traction and all that, but the water box and the burnout box, it's not something I would say has ever changed the way my actual path went. So I don't know. Not a real critical aspect.
All right. Now, do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
I guess. Now, during the summer when I have weekends at home, I probably spend most of the time in my garden. I really enjoy gardening. I feed the birds, so I'm always watching, but I'm kind of a big bird watcher. I know that doesn't really sound like it goes with drag racing, but I like to be outdoors, and I really enjoy plants and flowers, and I have a aeroponic garden that I take care of all the summer and grow all my own vegetables on. And I'm a distributor for a business called Juice Plus, and it's a way of sharing, healthy eating and healthy eating habits, and helping people get more in their diet. And I spend time doing that too. I like to share that. So I don't know, it's not quite a hobby, but maybe it's more of a hobby than a business since I'm retired.
Now, if you and your hubby have time to go on vacation, do you have a favorite vacation spot?
As a matter of fact, we do, and we're just getting ready to go on our annual vacation. We scuba dive, and we're leaving shortly for a trip down. We go to the Southern Caribbean. There's an island called Bonaire.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot of people haven't heard of it because it's a very small island. But if you can find Aruba on the map, you can find Bonaire. And what we like about the island is it's not a big party island. It's not a big tourist attraction, but it has probably 20 or more beaches, and they're not even sandy beaches, but they're shoreline that you can just walk right in and go scuba diving without getting on a boat. And it's beautiful. Very little current, warm water, lots and lots of fish and coral, and we can do a couple dives a day and enjoy warm weather and get away from winter before winter really steps in.
Okay, now, what's your favorite movie? You have a favorite movie of all time?
Oh, geez. You know what? I'm not a big movie. I haven't been to a movie in a long time. Actually, the last movie I went to with my grandsons was the new Star Wars movie that came out. I don't know. Top Gun was a movie I remember I liked. I guess I like old movies. Dirty Dancing, Top Gun, and can't think of anything else right now.
What's your favorite music to listen to?
more than anything, but I do listen to a little country. If I feel like something a little bit more upbeat, I'll listen to some country music.
All right, now, can you think of one most embarrassing moment you had on the drag race track?
Oh, wow. Most embarrassing moment, like in my race car?
Yeah, on the track.
Huh. I can't think of any. I mean, I can think a lot of times where things didn't work well, and I was pretty disappointed. I don't know about embarrassed. I guess getting out and car shaking so hard on a burnout, and I couldn't keep it running, and I ended up just killing it right there at the end of the burnout, sitting out on the track. And they had to push me back to let the other car run, and I think the other car got so hot it didn't have a good day, so I didn't like that. That's the only thing that comes to mind right now.
All right, here's an easy question. What's your favorite food to eat?
My favorite food?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I guess a hamburger sitting on the plate with a big pile of grilled onions and a slice of cheese melted over top of it.
All right. Now, what's your favorite beverage to drink?
A Moscow Mule.
What is that?
What is that? A Moscow Mule is ginger beer with vodka and lime in a copper mug.
Ah, okay. Now, what's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Oh, Arnold Palmer.
All right.
That's the half lemonade, half ice.
Right, I know what you're talking about. The big can. All right, now, what was your favorite cartoon growing up as a kid?
You don't know how old I am. These are hard questions to answer. I have to think way back. I didn't watch a lot of cartoons as a kid. I didn't watch a lot of TV as a kid, actually, because most of the time I didn't have one. Mighty Mouse. I liked Mighty Mouse. That's a cartoon I still remember watching.
Yeah, okay. So now...
do you know who Mighty Mouse is?
Of course.
Okay.
I'm 50 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, if people want to find out your schedule, what's the website for them to find all that on?
Okay, this is a tough one because that's one thing someday I gotta try to fix, and that is our racing website is not an easy address. I'll read it to you and spell it for you. First of all, it's www.christophersenracing, all one word, .uncle-earls, with an S.com. Because Uncle Earls is the soap company that sponsors us.
Right.
And they take good care of us by giving us a nice website. So it's Christophersen Racing. And Christophersen, most people can't spell that right. It's a long name. It's CHRISTOPHERSEN and it's .uncle-earls EARLS.com. Now, see what I said? I need to come up with a shortcut to that, but we have on that website. We always post our schedule. I also do a blog and try to write up results from each of our races. And we have some pictures, and we've been able to post a few videos of some of our racing, and a little backstory on Steve and I and how we got started.
So